Huzzah! We should be live. If not now, then in a moment. Yep, there's our faces.
We're live.
We're here. Hola. And welcome to the continuing of our Christmas relay live chat that we have been doing. It has been so wonderful so far. I've only been able to pop into a little bit. Like I popped into Nachos, which for me was last night.
Yeah.
Before I went to bed. And then I've pretty much popped in on every stream since then, since I woke up this morning. And hey, cats and cords, what can I say? Thank you, Ring, for coming on to my channel. And the link to this is in the Xmas Relay chat on Twitter. If anybody else wants to join, they are very welcome. There is nothing whatsoever exclusive about this about this video. Nothing interesting going on except for some hopefully fun discussions and keeping everybody entertained and not alone on Christmas Day.
Which is the whole point of this.
Mm-hmm. I actually am I was in a particularly good situation where my fiance's family just decided to have all of their Christmas Day stuff on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So I was free for the entirety of Christmas Day.
So you essentially get 2 Christmases.
Basically. Pirate Kitty. Hello.
Well, my niece
hello
is going to her dad's today. So we hit it yesterday so that she could
so that she could have her Christmas with this half of the family and with the other half of the family. So
makes sense.
Pretty kitty.
Yes, this is Dr. Salami. If you don't know Dr. Salami already.
Yes, I've seen his pictures.
Dr. Salami here is the worst. She's very bad. Bionic Dance. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. We're just getting things started here, basically. But I'm glad there's so many people here to have fun with us. This will be wonderful.
Yeah.
Have you got a topic, or are we just chatting for free?
We could just chat for free, but I do have one topic that has been very important to me. So, as most of you probably already know, I was raised a witness. This is actually my 3rd Christmas. But during I left the religion in November. So very shortly no, not November. October? I left the religion in October. So very shortly after that, I had my first Christmas, and I'm experiencing everything for the first time. And I was working retail at the time. Hey, Purple. And so basically, it was my first real interaction with Christmas music, like actually trying to listen to it as opposed to avoiding it at all costs. And I noticed very quickly that there were a lot of Christmas songs that I liked and a lot of them that I really, really hated.
Yeah.
I have some strong opinions on that myself.
I want to talk about our favorite and our least favorite Christmas music.
Okay.
Hops. All right, I'm glad so many people showed.
Yeah.
Glad y'all are here. But yeah, that's the main topic I want to discuss is just best and worst Christmas music.
Well,
I know what my worst is.
I fucking hate Carol of the Bells. It's so creepy. It sounds like it belongs in a Tim Burton movie. It's horror music. That is not a happy song in any way.
That was one of the only ones that I liked as a witness.
Have you heard the version done by Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Mm-hmm. No. That one's bomb as fuck.
No.
Yeah.
It's guitars and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they meld it with God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's just instrumental, and it sounds badass.
Well, I've noticed a trend is that, and this is only a trend, it's not absolute, but the more religious the music is, the more depressing it is. And the more secular it is, the more Santa Claus oriented it is, the happier the song. Just in terms of like the key they choose, how it makes me feel. It's a lot more, I don't know, just friendly music if it's not religious.
Hey, Lavender Lady.
Yay!
I mean,
actually got this to work.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Old City Bar always brings tears to my eyes, but it's like kind of the happy kind of tears, you know.
Okay.
So where's chat? Okay.
I kind of like Carol of the Bells. I only got to know it this year actually.
So since we can't probably play it because it would probably be a copyright strike, I did put it in the chat, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of Carol of the Bells.
I have heard it. Yes, it is. It is great. It is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I've got that on
Christmas
CD
Eve
here
Sarajevo.
Yes,
It's really the
Sarajevo
only version
one.
of that song that I like, though.
No, when it comes to songs I hate, I hate All I Want for Christmas Is You from Mariah.
That's my favorite one.
Well, it's actually I only hate the song because I work retail.
Oh,
and
I understand that.
One Christmas, the computer system for music broke, and it played All I Want for Christmas Is You for a full 24 hours on loop. I had to work an
Jesus.
8-hour shift.
Okay, that's understandable. That's perfectly understandable.
One of the we've got a relatively new tradition here in Denmark for Christmas, which is to be whammed, which means
Whamageddon, yeah.
Yeah, Whamageddon. So that's not a Danish. That's not a particular Danish thing, I guess. Then
no, we do it we have it in the U.S. In fact, I been winning until
until Not Just Stream.
18th. No, before the Not Just Stream. 18th. We were in a restaurant and they played the classic version of it, and then I lost.
Yeah. Now I had not heard that was a thing until the stream last night.
Really?
Yeah, neither had I. In fact, as much as I'm an 80s kid, I had never heard of that song by Wham.
What?
Really?
Seriously?
That's impressive.
Well, I didn't know the
wild.
song they were talking about, but once somebody played a clip of it, I knew it. I know I've heard it.
Mhm.
I just muted my mic so I could listen to that Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing, and no.
Still don't like it?
No.
Okay.
It's still the same tune. It's still in that same sort of minor key that makes me want to shoot myself. So no.
Oh well.
Sorry.
I would rather listen to Christmas at Ground Zero by Weird Al Yankovic.
Well, anything by Weird Al is probably going to be a banger.
I wonder how much the depressing music has to do with the suicide rate in December.
Possible.
Probably not that
Enough.
much, but yeah.
Well, it certainly doesn't help.
Now, for least favorite Christmas song, which is weird. It's like my least favorite song to listen to, but it's one of my favorite titles. Just is It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
Huh?
Don't think I know that one.
I could. It came upon a midnight clear, glorious song.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
Well, but yeah, the title sounds like the title of a 1950s sci-fi horror flick, and that's
it does.
The title.
I have a
Without
friend
question, my favorite Christmas song is Tom Lee's Christmas Carol.
When Worlds Collide, that sort of thing.
I could see that, but yeah, I don't know the song at all, so I have no frame of reference to pass any level of judgment. I literally had to go through my Spotify and write down the names of all the Christmas songs that I actually know to prepare for this because there's just so few that I know. Like there's ones that I've heard, and then there's ones that I know, and then there's plenty that I've just never heard at all.
Yeah.
But
Okay, now there's.
Okay, actually, if I could take a brief moment here.
No.
Ex-Cult Baby, you were already, running when I came in here.
Mhm.
So I did not get introduced. Who's your partner there?
Oh, this is Nathan, aka Paraskeptic. That is my fiance. He's great. He helped me deconvert and all that stuff, so he's pretty rad.
Yay.
Cheers to you.
I'm sorry, I caught Skeptic. What's his channel name?
Paraskeptic, because it's I was a while ago going to do a channel debunking ghost stuff, and so a lot of in that community, a lot of the titles are like para this, para that, like parapsychologist, para whatever. So I thought I'd play on that.
Okay, well, if you want, you can drop a link to your channel on the side there.
I have absolutely zero videos.
Yeah,
I ended up not doing.
We decided that instead of doing his own channel, he's gonna make some videos for my channel.
Okay.
And it'll just kind of be his own
Mhm.
own thing on my channel, which I keep telling him, all right, make your video, let's go.
Yeah,
And
well, I've seen a couple of people do that. You know, that
My wife's available for me to Skype with, so I'm gonna back out now.
all right, Ray.
Okay.
Someone
Bye-bye.
says,
Having you.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
being
coming
here.
on.
Yeah.
Well, take
Yeah.
care, sweetie.
Thanks for playing. Thanks for
Yes.
playing early on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had a great time.
that was
yeah, well,
wonderful.
when someone says para anything, my brain goes immediately to Ghostbusters with the paranormal investigations and eliminations.
Yep.
That's exactly where my brain goes. I hear para, except for parachute. That one I don't.
Yeah.
But
Slightly different.
anything else,
Or
like
paramedic.
paralegal or whatever.
Well, having a background in organic chemistry, I go to the substituents on opposite sides of the ring. And that went over like a lead balloon.
One ring, my precious.
Yeah, there you go.
That's definitely what we're talking about. That was it.
Well, I used to be a ghost hunter, so I was so immersed.
Wait, you used to be a ghost hunter.
Yes.
He
You
was
hunted ghosts.
He was
Why?
the team skeptic. Like they kept him there just to keep everybody else from going too far every single time.
Yeah, but I did go to the places and I asked the questions. You know, is there anybody here with us? And then 8 hours of silence. And we were up till like 4 a.m. and then drove 3 hours back, and it was absorbently expensive because everywhere you go costs like $400.
So
but
there
I
were
did it.
Obviously, no one.
I mean, I definitely saw and heard some stuff that was like, ooh, spooky. And at the time when I was believing it, it was like extra spooky because I thought I knew what it was. But, you know, even looking back now, there's stuff I can't explain. But obviously, we all know that.
That doesn't mean it was
that
ghosts.
doesn't mean we know yet.
Yeah.
And that's what it usually comes down to with a lot of the, at least from what he has told me about his paranormal experiences, is that it comes down to a whole lot of people just thinking that they have an explanation for things that they don't understand, when in fact there's either a perfectly logical explanation that they're ignoring, or they're just saying, well, I don't know what it is, therefore it's ghosts.
Well, I really like the story that Aaron Ra would tell about, and he used to do that sort of thing, and he could set a scene and have people believing that this shit was happening. And he didn't realize it at the time, but then he discovered, hey, wait a minute, that's what I'm doing. And that was part of his journey into skepticism, figuring out that this weird shit that was supposedly otherworldly was actually him doing it to other people.
Yeah. One of my
I've got a good friend from Seattle who makes her living as a psychic, and the number of times I've had to hold my tongue.
Yeah. Just like
I get, yeah,
One of my favorites is there was this really famous picture that was taken in a graveyard somewhere, and there was a ball of light in the background, and everyone was like, "Ooh, it's a will-o'-the-wisp, it's a ghost." And they finally figured out where the picture was taken. They go to this graveyard and they look around and come to find out, like a half a block away is a stop sign.
Oh my.
And they had taken a flash photography picture, and it had reflected off of the stop sign and created this ball of light. And so they went there and they took the picture again at night and said, "Oh, we see it again." And then they waited till the day and took the picture, and they're like, "It's a stop sign."
Yeah.
That's gotta be disappointing though.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I found this really cool thing, evidence of the supernatural. Oh crap.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
isn't.
stop sign.
It isn't exactly supernatural, but I remember years and years ago, I was one of a group of people who saw call it a UFO. I mean, it was kind of flying. It was an object, and we didn't know what the hell it was, so it was a UFO. A pink cigar-shaped kind of thing behind a cloud. Never found out what it was, and it bugs me to this day. And I think we saw this thing and like, 1968. These are the things where you really wish that you could figure out what they were, and you just can't. But then there's where the other people prefer the bullshit explanation to no explanation at all.
I've had an experience that I can't explain when I was a lot younger. Completely cloudless night. So there's no way what I was seeing was projected from the ground.
Okay.
It didn't look like an object. Exactly. What it looked like was starlight. And it looked like a bullseye made out of starlight. There's a little dot, circle around that, circle around that. It looked like about the size of a dime up in the sky. And there were 3 of them forming an equilateral triangle. And I have no idea what they were. They didn't move. They didn't make sound. They just sat there among the rest of the stars. No idea what the fuck that was.
All right. And I haven't seen 3 at a time, but what I have seen are lunar halos. And I'm wondering if that might have something to do with it.
Well, they were nowhere near the moon, so I don't know.
Okay. If there was something else in the sky that would, you're familiar with lunar halos?
Oh, sort of.
Yeah, where you have the ice crystals at high altitude, and very often you'll get 1 halo around the moon. Often enough, you'll get 2. And I've seen a couple double halos, and they're beautiful. Well, absolutely.
I don't think this was anything like that, because it really looked.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. No idea.
There was an instance where I was growing up in the late 1970s that we had about 24 reportings of a UFO. That was because my foster brother and I faked it. We had built a spaceship out of random parts left over from modeling kits and put a couple of little lights in it. And we ran a fishing line from his bedroom window out around the power lines in the alley and back so that we could run it back and forth on the fishing line.
Oh, jeez.
Now you make me want to fix lights onto my drone just to fuck with people.
Yeah. That sounds like something that, like when people think about this kind of thing, they never consider that they are being intentionally tricked.
Yes.
But kids do shit like that, where they go and they make some stuff just to fuck with people.
Yeah, we never actually owned up to it, but yeah, the next week in the local paper, there were 24 sightings of a UFO.
Incredible.
You heard about the UFO experience in LA a while back, right? Where the power had all gone out and the police started getting calls about UFOs. Turned out that the people in LA had never seen stars before.
Oh, wow.
That is so sad. When I think about people who have not seen.
Believable. Yeah. When I consider the level of light pollution around Chicago.
Yeah.
It's not fun here either. I mean, I can make out Orion, the major stars at the hands and the feet, and I can actually, if I look really hard, I can find the belt and the sword, but there's nothing that I can see here in Pittsburgh that's like the dark skies I saw as a kid out Kelly's Island, one of the Lake Erie Islands, where you had, no phone, no lights, no motor cars, not a single luxury. And on a moonless night, on a night of a new moon with a clear sky, oh my God, nothing but stars. From horizon to horizon.
I was raised in Vermont, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Up where I'm living, it's like, I hate it because I'm so isolated up here. But yeah, if you go out to my mom's or my sister's place, if you had a telescope, this is an excellent area for it.
Frankly, here in San Diego, I'm shocked I can see the moon.
Now see, we keep getting our relatives who are, coming up here, like even from around the Milwaukee area. And they come up here and they're still shocked how dark it is at night.
Wow.
Because they haven't been anywhere that there weren't city lights.
Yeah,
I forget how dark it can get in the country, because I've been living in Atlanta for 8 years. Come to visit my parents out here in South Carolina, and I step outside the door, and if there wasn't a light on in the house, I wouldn't know where I was. Can't see shit.
Wow.
Have we talked about more or less where you are in South Carolina? Because I used to work out there.
Oh, south of Sumter, south of Columbia.
Okay,
Near
I
Lake
got
Mary
you.
and Moultrie.
I got you. I used to work in a small town called Pickens near Spartanburg.
Okay.
Slim?
Yeah, Tony
Dickens.
Design is saying in the side chat that after Hurricane Katrina, there were no lights for hundreds of miles, and he had to explain to people what they were seeing in the sky.
Wow.
Was the Milky Way? Yes.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Not
the
sad.
Seattle, you could see stars way better than here in San Diego. I mean, it's still a city, Seattle is, but you know, you could, like you say, make out Orion and the Big Dipper and all that stuff. But man, here in San Diego, you're lucky to see 5 stars at night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the weird thing. When I was a girl, I remember seeing the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper in the sky in Cleveland. I can't find them to save my life now.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm thinking, is it the case that the light pollution has got that much worse in 50 years or whatever it is?
I grew up with the contrast because we lived in the Chicago suburbs, you know, but we would come up here to see my grandparents and that, you know, so it's like, yeah, when we were camping up here, and even up into the mid 70s, there were houses out here that the electricity hadn't been run out that far yet.
Wow.
Wow. It's wild. I remember when I used to live in a city. It was like in Toledo, so it's not a big city, but it's a city enough. And my dad has always been into astronomy, so he would take me and my siblings, like drive us an hour out of town to go look at the stars and see like meteor showers and stuff like that. But even in the city, I can make out, you know, major constellations and stuff like that if I'm really looking. The light, I can't imagine living in a place where the light pollution is so bad that I can't see like any stars. That's crazy.
Yeah, it gets close here. I think the sky we have is, third magnitude.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Chicago had a big problem with it because it wasn't just the city lights, but you get so much reflection off of Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Toledo. So are you familiar with Kelly's Island?
I haven't been, but I know of it.
Yeah, my grandparents had a cottage out there, and the grandkids used to go there twice per summer. And some of the best times I ever had in my life were out there.
There was an opportunity for me to go, and I don't remember why I didn't take it. But back when I was a witness, the way that they do the preaching that witnesses do is that they divide, every congregation has its own territory in whatever city or area that they're in.
Yeah, okay.
So they're divided up on little maps and stuff.
Oh,
and the congregation that I was in was for American Sign Language, so it wasn't even English speaking. So I wasn't dividing up the territory between like every congregation. It was divided between the American Sign Language congregations. So our territory was huge. It took us years to cover it. And it included Kelly's Island. And I remember at some point they were going to take a special trip, like in a ferry to Kelly's Island. And I don't remember why I didn't end up going, but I didn't end up going. So that's the only reason that I even know about Kelly's Island, to be honest.
Yeah, my cousin inherited the cottage. My aunt had bought up the parcels from all the siblings because it was portioned out. And then when Eleanor died, my cousin Kathy inherited, and she just recently sold it. And I got to see it one last time, and it had been left to ruin. And I stood there and cried. And she's looking at me, what's the problem? It's amazing when something can mean so much to one person and another person allegedly close to that person thinks nothing of it. And it's amazing the way that goes.
Yeah, one man's trash, you know. Yeah,
that's sad.
Of course, it's also kind of funny when something means something to you and you didn't know it. until it's gone.
Okay,
You know,
okay. Yeah.
Now, granted, this isn't exactly the same because I was hardly attached to the fact that my dad had a beard when I was little. But one day I come home and he'd shaved it off, and it terrified me. I didn't know
Who is this person?
Yeah,
That was
I mean, like I knew it was my dad, but something was so wrong, and it just wigged me out so bad.
My dad has always had a mustache for as long as I can remember, even in like he's so notorious for having a mustache that at some point somebody who came into our house cut out a little picture of a mustache and taped it to one of his baby photos, and it took a while for us to notice. It was so funny, and nobody ever took the mustache off, as far as I know. We just left it there.
My dad pulled that shaving thing off on me once.
I thought witnesses weren't allowed to have beards or mustaches.
Not beards, but they are allowed to have mustaches.
Okay.
But in certain areas of the world, they are allowed to have beards, but they're not allowed to have certain privileges in the congregation if they have beards.
Wait.
I will never understand religious grooming restrictions. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
here's the thing, though. It's not even religiously based. They only started doing that when the original president of the Watchtower,
Rutherford,
yes, when he died, when Charles Taze Russell, the original, died, and Rutherford got a hold of it. Rutherford didn't want to see any beards because Charles Taze Russell had a beard. And he didn't want to remind people of his predecessor because he wanted all the power and he wanted the focus to be on him. So he's the one that started telling people to shave their beards. It wasn't even a religiously based thing, but for some reason it's still the rule today. Go figure.
So weird.
My daughter almost had a
beard.
No. But she did almost cry once I told her I wanted to cut my beard. I didn't want to shave it off though, but she thought I was about to take it off completely, and she was almost panicking.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. My dad, my mom, and me and my siblings had moved to California while my father stayed back in Massachusetts working. And the day before he came to California to finally move with us and get a job in California, he shaved everything off. He shaved his beard off. And so I'm sitting at home waiting because Daddy's coming today. And then this weird man walks through the door who doesn't have a beard, and I didn't even recognize him.
That would terrify me. If my dad had ever showed up at home one day without a mustache, I would have been like, oh, who are you?
My brother and I used to confuse people like that. In fact, when I was in high school, he was in the Navy. And he was standing in the kitchen, and my girlfriend had not met him yet. And she came in and kissed him by mistake.
Oops.
So we had a thing that ran for about 20 years that we could not both be in the same state and both have a beard.
Did you ever know someone who had a beard and it hid how misshapen their head is? And so when they shave it off, you're like, no, you have no chin. Throw it, yeah. It's crazy.
No, but
actually, my boyfriend
he had the fluffiest
does not have a chin
beard ever. It turned out that's just how round his face was.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
So,
but we had the same kind of confusion much later at one of the family reunions when I was meeting his daughter for the first time, and she was only 2 years old at the time, and she was utterly confused.
It was a little weird. Like, have you seen those pictures of Aaron Raw after he's shaved?
No, and I don't want to.
I've never
don't
seen him
show
shaved.
that to me.
I don't think I've seen that.
He's done it, and it's so weird looking.
I don't want to see it. Don't send me pictures.
That's something very new, right?
What? No, not now. No, it was ages ago. This picture. He's grown it back since.
Oh, good.
Not want to see that.
No, actually, there are pictures of Lemmy Kilmister, the lead singer of Motorhead, who's now dead and gone and all that. But at a time, he also had shaved off his beard, and it just looks too weird with him without a beard.
And
by the way,
for a while, just need to keep
the thing about having a beard, hiding stuff. There's this French race car driver. He was driving Le Mans for many years. His name is Pescarolo. He's still active as a technician and as a team leader, but he's grown a beard and has had it for decades because he had an accident where half of his face basically was burned away.
Oh no!
So it's hiding his scars.
Oh my!
Well,
he's of course that can be the opposite problem. That depending on how the scars form, it can prevent the hair from growing, and you got a bald patch there.
Yeah, but it didn't. Hair could still grow there, so he chose to have a beard to hide the scar.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, my boyfriend tells me he was one of those kids who would always lean with his chin in his hand. And so it kind of messed up his chin growing up. So he won't shave his beard because he says it messed up. His chin looks funny.
How do you mess up your chin just by leaning on your hand?
Imagine doing that all the time, every day, almost. Like, not just leaning on it, but like put your hand on your chin and kind of push it to the left a little.
I suppose if it was a chronic habit, during puberty, it could affect the bone growth.
Yeah, it was all through high school, sitting at the chair going, I'm bored. At work.
I guess that makes sense. Hey, so we got totally off topic.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah.
We had a topic?
Yeah, Christmas carols.
We were talking about our least favorite and most favorite Christmas songs. And we were talking shit about a lot of songs, but I do want to hear some people's favorites.
Well, my favorite is Tom Lear's Christmas Carol.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to perform it again?
Yeah, by golly, disapproval would be folly. Deck the halls with hunks of holly, fill the cup and don't say when.
Yeah,
I literally never heard that song.
I had sang it on Diana's channel a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, night before last, I clipped that out and I put that as a standalone video on my channel. So you can go hear it there and you can hear me sing. And if people don't start sending me money on Patreon, I will make a musical.
I've made that threat before. I've totally like, okay, donate to me or I will keep singing. I've totally done it.
You literally have entire animations at the end of your videos based on if you don't donate to me on Patreon, I will commit crimes.
It's true. It's true.
Well, she's got one in a mecca of wiping out a whole city.
Yeah.
I can do the elements as well, by the way.
Oh my! No, wait a minute. Does this include the elements that have been discovered since?
No, I haven't learned those versions though.
Okay,
but I know they exist.
Okay.
I think all of my favorite Christmas songs are satire and parody.
Yeah,
I really do. Like I've mentioned on other people's streams how much I love "Wreck the Malls."
Yes.
Is
that a parody of "Deck the Halls"?
With Us is a good one. What's the other one I'm thinking of here?
Well, there's
Christmas
Weird Al's
Music's
Christmas
Driving
at
Me
Ground
Nuts.
Zero.
That's the one. And
Wreck the
Christmas
Halls.
at Ground Zero
I'll look
as well.
that one up.
Well, I have the two favorites. One is a parody. One is not. I admit to dearly loving "Oh Holy Night." It is in D flat major, five flats. I find that key very, very soothing. The lyrics suck ass, but the tune is very nice. But the other one I really like is "O Little Town of Bethlehem." It is not what you remember. It is, "O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above the deep and dreamless sleep. The silent stars go by."
That sounds
It's
fun.
amazing how beautifully that fits. Bob Rivers, Twisted Radio.
Okay.
As a kid, we had a an old record with Muppet Show singing Christmas carols along with John Denver.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Christmas Together, it was called. And there's this fantastic version of the Muppets playing Little Saint Nick, which is originally a Beach Boys.
Beach Boys, yes.
And I really liked the Muppets version. And then one day I heard the original Beach Boys version, and I immediately thought, why would I ever listen to that again? And I keep listening to the Muppet Show version because it's so much better. It's more up-tempo. It's much more tightly played, and the singing is better. Everything is better about the Muppet Show version.
Honestly, that you can say that about just about any song the Muppets have ever covered.
Oh yeah, Mana, for example.
Oh yeah.
My sister and I drove my parents crazy driving 3,000 miles from Massachusetts to California at one point, singing Mana Mana. Oh no. But my favorite song is actually Kate's least favorite. My favorite is Carol of the Bells. And then if we're talking parody, I like Dominic the Donkey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Muppet Christmas Carol was definitely, it's something I actually asked for a copy on DVD, and I got it last year from my sister-in-law.
You know what? Is that on Disney Plus? We should watch that tonight. Muppets
There
Christmas
are
Carol.
other very beautiful renditions of traditional songs. There's also John Denver singing along with Ralph, the dog that plays the piano. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. That is brilliant as well.
Yeah. Another one I like just because it is just so over the top is from Futurama here. That it is Robot Santa Claus and Kwanzaa Bot and Hanukkah Zombie. This holiday trio's going to war.
Oh, that's nice.
I liked on TV show once the Christmas Time is Killing Us from Family Guy's Christmas special about
the one
Santa
where they
and
have the
elves.
elves enslaved.
Well, it's because there's such a high demand for toys and gifts among a growing population that Santa and the elves can't keep up, and they're like miserable now. He's had to inbreed them to keep up with the numbers he needs, and so they're like, I think that song may have won some kind of Emmy or something. I can't remember what the awards are for various things, but
I remember that episode.
So
I always love that one.
Ever so slightly off topic, but because you mentioned it, Santa Claus does not have elves. Those are clearly gnomes.
They're too short to be elves.
Yeah.
That's what I've been telling people
there
for
are
years.
Some
Those
elves
are the
that are short. I mean,
Scandinavian
read the
woodland
comic book
gnomes.
Elf Quest. They're definitely short in that. But I mean, like elves are not tinkerers. They don't build stuff the way gnomes do.
And elves are not particularly friendly to people. Elves at most will, kind of harass people for their amusement.
Yeah, elves aren't going to make toys for human children.
Yeah, those are clearly gnomes. There's nothing else they can possibly be. It's kind of the way Jesus is obviously a lich.
Well, I did some research into that, and apparently the problem was that when the legends got translated to English, in English there wasn't any word for, it came through the German, and the Germans did not have a word for the gnomes, so they called them elves.
As far as I know, the Germans actually call them dwarves, and in Denmark we call them nisse, which is actually a variant of a
I actually know what nisse are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm noticing the clock over here.
We did play Dungeons and Dragons just before we came in here, or that was the second but last stream. That's called Baby was in on that. From the D&D universe, there's the brownie, and the brownie is actually the at least the Dungeons and Dragons character, which looks mostly like the nisse. And traditionally, we say that those are also the fairy tale creatures that are helping out Santa Claus. At least we do here in Denmark.
Just a quick one.
Brownies are very trickstery, though. They're not nice people.
They can be nice. They are nice. Well. Yeah, but they are nice if you're nice to them. And if you're not nice to them,
You're just
they'll be a
incredibly
pain in the ass.
spiteful.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
Just
that's
a
kind
quick
of how I
one.
regard all the Fae creatures, as just like, don't fuck with them if you don't want to be fucked with.
Especially
Pretty
the drag
much.
queens. Wait, not that kind of fae. Never mind. Although I do know some very spiteful drag queens, but that's another story entirely.
Just a quick one. I'm noticing the clock, and if I remember,
Oh, yeah, you're
honey,
next.
I'm next. So I'm gonna take off and set up because I've got to switch systems and all this other stuff. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
yes,
while
see you
you're
in 20
doing that,
minutes.
I'm gonna go
Side.
get myself some food. I haven't eaten yet, and it's almost noon. So
Oh, geez, go eat.
Oh my!
What's wrong with you?
Eat food, yummies, tasties.
Food is
almost-
a priority.
It's almost 9 o'clock in the evening.
No,
Oh.
I put a playlist in the relay chat, and if you want to see my favorite versions of Christmas carols, just look at that little playlist.
Yeah.
Especially
Will do.
especially the We Three Kings version. I played it on my stream. I don't know, you were probably asleep because that was like 1 in the morning Eastern. So I don't know. I can't even remember who was there. Not in stream, but who was out of the stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you were playing the camels.
Yeah, those seem to horrify Kate.
A religious song, a religious Christmas song that I actually still like, but it was definitely my favorite when I was a believer, is "Go Tell It on the Mountains."
I have never heard that.
It's
Neither have I.
it's
I
pretty
don't think I have.
catchy.
I remember it. Yeah.
It, to me, honestly, it's one of those, like, kind of, if I'm using terms correctly, it's like a gospel kind of choir song.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
actually
definitely
a
one where
rather
you clap
somber.
along, depending on which version, I suppose. But I always listen to
Oh, excuse me.
I can't remember who did it, but it was I always listened to a really upbeat version of it where they had like claps going in the background.
It sounds
Which
Oh.
when you have a
Oh.
church choir going is just really fun sounding.
Now, see, I remember a very somber version that's just a step or two above a funeral march.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably closer to the original, but I hear more positive versions of that one than I do of most of the other ones, because that one's easy enough to make into a happy song versus like if you're doing like Silent Night or
hmm
Yeah,
any
Silent
of
Night.
those.
Yeah, well, when
I
I'm
would
thinking
love to
about
hear
it,
a poppy version of Silent Night.
when
In
I'm thinking
Denmark,
about it, I think I did hear a version of it that was, like from a Southern Baptist group, so it was much more
Oh,
up-tempo
wow.
with the clapping.
So
Silent-
I just
Silent-
tried to find a pop version of Silent Night, and I found a version being sung by William Shatner.
Oh.
Oh no, do not. No.
Funny thing, Silent Night in Danish is a completely different tune. The one who translated it chose not to translate it. He chose to write a completely different lyrics to it. So for some
Okay.
reason, and I don't understand why, because I absolutely hate the Danish version because I've seen how it just botched the original completely.
Well, and
Danish
I've wondered
versions of
about
things.
that a lot. When songs are translated to different languages, how can they get the meaning and still make them rhyme?
Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. Sometimes you have to switch it a bit and it still kind of fits. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's better to just redo the whole thing, but not in this case. That
the
has not made the song
Psalms,
better or just as good.
the Book of Psalms rhymes in the original Hebrew, but
As far as I know, it doesn't.
at least that's what. Okay, I will say that's what I was told. At least parts of Psalms rhyme in the original Hebrew, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't checked it myself. I can't read Hebrew, but I've actually heard that it was seen as wrong or forbidden actually to have verses rhyme. So yes, in the original Hebrew. So what they do instead is they rhyme with meaning. They have two sentences which basically mean the same thing, and that's their rhyme. So actually, rhyming sounds is not something they do.
Which is why they're so repetitive.
Yeah, exactly. So So that's the way they rhyme. They rhyme in meaning and not in sound. That's what I've been told at least.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, there you go, I guess. Okay, now if I can say, as someone who has only recently come onto the Christmas scene, I do not have a background of knowing Christmas music. Some of my favorites are pretty much... Oh, hold on. I think I muted myself. Did I mute myself?
No,
I'm not muted. Okay, never mind. Almost all the ones that I like are secular. I pretty much don't like any of the Jesus-y ones. I really don't. I don't like them. Most of them are boring.
The most religious one I like is We Three Kings.
I don't know that one.
You don't know We Three Kings?
Might recognize the tune if you heard it.
I could mention one specific one, a Danish one about Jesus, which I absolutely loathe over any other Christmas tune in the world. But Danish then again, so I can show you the link, and you can listen to the music and hear how awful that is if you're interested.
Well, I would be, just because I want more exposure to more Christmas songs.
So
sure. I'll put the link in. Got it right here.
So
don't say you weren't warned.
That's
and
fair.
You say you haven't heard We Three Kings?
Mm-mm.
It goes, we three kings of Orient are bearing gifts, we travel so far, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star.
Okay, so it's about the three wise men.
Yeah.
It's if you remember the weird Christmas decoration where you press the button that my parents used to have and now my sister has, that now sounds like it's being sung by a 1-inch person. I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason
he has one. There used to be this deep voice that said, "When Jesus was born in Bethlehem, three wise men came," and now it's like, "When Jesus was born in Bethlehem, three wise." It's the same speed. It just.
For some reason, it's extremely high pitched now.
But the first video that plays in that linked playlist that I put in the chat is my favorite version of that.
Okay, well I'll take a look at it. I will find it and I will listen to it and I will give you my my review.
Listen to it. Don't watch it because apparently the camels remind people of face eaters, monsters.
Oh, okay.
It's like It's 80s claymation, and Kate seemed to have been horrified by it.
Claymation can be terrifying. It's true. So my favorite Christmas song is "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey, and I realize that it's extremely annoying to people that work in retail, and I fully acknowledge that, but it just gets me really hyped up for Christmas, and it's like. It's fun, it's cheerful, it's all in the season.
Actually, I will grant it this much. It's one of the very few Mariah Carey tunes that doesn't make me want to throw something really hard and heavy towards my speakers.
Well, there you go. That's an endorsement as far as I'm concerned.
It is.
It's also our song because when we first met, it was in late November. So we were already, Christmas was kind of coming upon us anyway. And we met on Tinder. And we were just asking each other basic trivia questions about each other. And one of the things that I asked him was, what are your top 3 Christmas songs? And that song was the only one that was on both of our top 3 Christmas song lists. And then when he picked me up a couple of days later for our first date, he had queued the song up so that as soon as he started his car, that song started playing. So since then, it's basically just every time we hear it, we're like, I love this song, yay! So even if that song does become annoying for me, it'll still hold a special place in my heart. So.
Right.
Yeah. It's your song. It's part of your relationship. I know how that goes.
Yeah. Even if it is annoying, I just have accepted that that's it now. That's
about,
the song.
Santa Baby.
Oh, that's my
Oh,
least
gosh.
favorite Christmas
Awful.
song.
Santa baby.
Please
Yeah.
don't. I hate it. I hate
Yeah,
the way
I find
it's
that one
sung.
very annoying.
I hate every lyric.
That's awful.
Oh, I can't stand that song. I've never heard a version of that song that I could listen to and enjoy. Oh,
One that I like though is Jingle Bell Rock.
I like that
original one. The original one with Bobby Helms. Because there are some obnoxious versions of that as well, but the original one with Bobby Helms is really good.
I really like that one.
There's never been a version of the 12 Days of Christmas that I enjoyed listening to all the way through.
That's true, because that song gets old so quickly.
If it came on, it just it's the first day of Christmas when True Love came.
Oh yeah, that one.
And then it builds every single. If I heard just the last time you run through it with all 12 things, I would be fine. But like after
on
5
the,
Golden Rings, I can't hear that song anymore.
Yeah,
that's
it's
on
so
the
repetitive.
that's on that Muppet Show album as well, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So it's a bit fun. It remains fun for a bit longer because each Muppet character sings a verse. So and they will sing it in each their way. So
But that's the thing. It's supposed to be like a fun song, not a good song. You know,
Yeah.
the Muppets can sing it and it's fun, but that doesn't mean it's like a good song.
No,
you know?
no, you're right.
What else is on your list?
Let's see. Of my favorite songs, Feliz Navidad. That one always gets me super turnt for Christmas.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Anything that makes me feel festive, really. That's what a lot of the songs on my top list have in common, is just songs that make me feel festive. It's like, yeah, Christmas, woohoo, you know?
Yeah, you can change the sound of that just a bit and it sounds like something dirty in Danish.
Oh.
Fik lis noget i nat. That means
I hope that the mic isn't picking it up, but apparently our downstairs neighbors are screaming. Like, woo! They're saying woo.
I can kind of hear it a little bit.
Is it positive screaming? Or is it like screaming at it? Oh, good.
It's not concerning, it's just annoying.
Oh, good. That's
otherwise fine. I would be a little bit more alarmed, but I'm just a little bit annoyed instead.
What else is on your list?
Let's see. Let It Snow.
Yeah.
That one it's so cozy, you know?
Yeah.
I can totally imagine the scene, and it's just like, yeah, let's just stay in and cuddle in front of the fire and eat some snacks and drink some hot cocoa.
Also the music is cool because you can sing it kind of next to the rhythm. I mean, you can play around a lot with that because it's a very jazzy tune, so you can do all kind of syncopes and play around.
I am
with
not
the
a
rhythm.
musician, so I'm just taking your word for it on that.
Okay, but you can.
Yeah.
And I like that about that tune as well.
I like It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Again, just because it gets me in the Christmassy mood.
Heard about it. I'm not sure if I could identify it if I heard it.
It's not particularly interesting as a melody or anything. It's just, you know, the lyrics are just like Christmas things. Get excited about Christmas things. And I'm like, I'm excited about Christmas things. So yeah, that's really the only appeal of it. But
so it's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And I shouldn't be trying to sing. I'm sick.
Oh, stop.
Aww.
Your voice is not good. Preserve your voice, please.
Oh,
what?
He said your voice is not good.
I mean, that's not what I meant.
I know. I get it. I got it.
Okay, good. As long as you understand that.
I realized what you meant because I was like, that sounded weirdly.
Yeah, Pirate Kitty, I have been seriously concerned that you have pushed yourself a little too hard for this when you really needed to just be spending time resting and recovering.
Yeah, I've got a couple more days. So I'm good.
You rest.
Yeah, I
Rest.
think after this one, I'm gonna go.
Well, I'm glad at
Take a
least
nap.
you could pop into mine and, be with us and enjoy before you finally take your well-deserved and much-needed rest.
Thank you.
Yeah, at some point during the day, I'm going to have to take a nap because I have to be on again at midnight.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I'm gonna pop into the next one because that's just how I am. But it's probably gonna be late because pretty much both of our entire day so far has been revolving around live streams.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I was going last night.
Yeah. So we're a little burnt out.
Yeah.
On live streams. Probably.
Well, and it's like I'm gonna step into Diana's chat, but I'm gonna just have to listen to it and find some food while she's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just throw it on my TV screen and just have it in the background from now on. I think.
Yeah.
I've been on all live chats, on all live shows. I think.
Yeah, well, I certainly did not expect anyone to sit through the entire thing. That's
no.
Yeah, what is it?
It was just to
hours?
have something running to be here for people to pop in and out whenever they had time.
Yeah. And I'm very glad that I am honestly so glad you did this. I thought it was a great idea, and I was just really happy that I could be a part of it because honestly, it was extremely fortunate that my family decided to do all of their Christmas stuff on Christmas Eve. Yeah. I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to work out, and I'm really glad it did.
Well, I was so glad to have you join in because I never really had a chance to talk to you directly before. So,
well, here we are, all talking.
And I wasn't even quite sure about asking you about it just because we hadn't had a conversation yet.
Yeah, but I've seen you around, and that's pretty much enough for me.
And you guys I've actually met you both.
You have? Oh,
I was
at Faithless Forum.
Yes, I was the one in the Captain Marvel shirt, if you remember me.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I do. Okay. Because how could I forget?
Kate forgot me, but it's okay.
Well, I specifically recognized your shirt because we have the exact same one.
And he was wearing the Groot shirt that day.
I got him that shirt.
Just saying. First shirt I ever owned that fit me that well.
Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up in the next 2 minutes, and then let me copy the link.
Yeah, I was just dropping the link in the side chat now.
Yeah, let me
grab the link. There's the link to Diana's channel. That's where we're heading next.
Yep, that is the next one. I'm dropping it in the chat as we speak. The live chat, so everybody can go over to Lavender Lady's channel to continue. If you are alone, please don't be. Just hang out with us.
Yeah, well, that's what this was all about, was just to be a place for everyone to hang out, so nobody had to be alone today if they didn't want to.
Again, super glad that you did this. I thought it was a great idea. I think it would.
And as I've said in a couple of chats, actually, for me, this was an excuse to avoid my family today.
Well, you know what? That's perfectly okay.
Because I've often had to make the distinction between biological family and chosen family.
Yeah.
Because my biological family tends to drive me nuts.
My biological family will not talk to me, so I'm on the same page, sort of.
Yeah, well, mine's the opposite way. It's like I know
wish they would stop talking to me.
Yeah, I know they mean well and they're trying to help, but they have no concept of what my value system is.
Yeah, that's understandable. Well, again, thank you again for putting this together. It doesn't even matter what your reasons are, really, as far as I'm concerned. And thank you guys for popping into my channel to have some fun convo with me and with Nathan.
Kitty!
Welcome, yes. Thank you.
Dr. Salami. She's so bad, but I love her anyway. All right. That is it for this live stream. Everybody go over to Lavender Lady's channel, and I'll see you guys there, because I'll probably pop the live chat.
We'll see you over there.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.